What do you need to know about plumbing? Exciting news. You know, back in my youth, I used to work for a company or a magazine. I was a publisher and I sold advertising for a magazine called Test and Measurement World. Boy, that was exciting. When I sat down with agencies, I would say, hey, if you ever have trouble falling asleep at night, pull open my magazine and within 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be asleep because it's so boring to you and me that, and they get the idea. And then, but for engineers, it's perfect because it keeps them up to date to new test techniques and, you know, all the different products that are out there, etc. Plumbing is kind of the same way. Same with electrical. It's boring, but you need to know it because if you're buying a $1 million, $2 million, $3 million house, you need to know what it's about. And this weekend during the open house, one of the ladies came to me, asked me if the house had new pipes put in because it was an older house. I'll show you the listing in a minute. It's true. You need to know about it. And it's not an exciting thing. I can tell you that. It's quite boring to know about plumbing. It's kind of disgusting sometimes because I have so many stories about plumbing, but there's 2 different types of plumbing that you have to worry about: supply and drainage, right? You have the wastewater and you have the intake water. And intake water or supply is made up of copper pipes, galvanized stainless steel PEX, you know, so you have to know what your system has. So if you have to fix it, you have to learn how to fix it yourself or call a plumber. And by the way, I know a great plumber, generations of people that have fixed homes. So back in the 60s, we used to use galvanized steel. The problem with that is it corrodes inside and becomes hard like your arteries. It's kind of gross and there's nothing really you can do about it. And every time you shut the water supply off at the street, turn it back on, the water would turn into a hammer and blow out some of the sediment, and then your filters would get slow. It's a common thing. Happens in my house. So you have to go around to every faucet that has a filter and tap out all the sediment, clean it out, and then put it back in. It's a to-do, right? So, and here's the thing: it has an expectancy of 40 years. Now, fast forward just in time a little bit, and everything went to copper. Now, copper has good things and bad things, right? It's resilient. It's a soft metal. It does leach into your water system if you don't use it for a long time. So they always say to run the water for a minute unless you have a water filtration system. And that goes into another depth of conversation that I don't want to talk about. But you have, you know, osmosis, reverse osmosis. You have filters at your fridge. You have all these different filters that you can do. You have water softening and all that. That's water supply. That's more. We'll talk about that in a minute. But plastic is a good thing, but it's a bad thing because if it's done wrong, it could be detrimental to your house. And if they say it freezes, it expands when it freezes. So unlike copper pipes, when they'll burst, if it freezes, something that we don't have to worry about here. But I used to own a cabin up in the mountains and I had problems with that all the time. It was a pain in the butt. There's no perfect answer to supply, right? That's the thing. Okay. The common thing is it's like the first thing you always do if you have a plumbing problem is shut off the water. No, you don't. Shut off the water is not the problem. You have to kind of isolate where the problem is. It's not like you reboot the computer and everything will be fine again. You have to start, what's the problem with it? Where's the leak coming from? Where's the slow water coming from? Is it in all the different faucets? That kind of thing. So you just have to be able to backwards engineer what's going on with your system. And it's not crazy stuff. So let's go back. Let's talk, that's supply. Let's talk about drainage. And drainage is wastewater, sewer water, And unlike what you think of, like in, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where they lived in the sewer systems, we don't have that here in California. We have very small pipes, and you have to be aware of what's going on. As a matter of fact, when you sell your house in certain locations like Morgan Hill and Fremont, now you have to do a sewer inspection. So you have to have a little robot that goes through and takes a video, and the inspector goes through to make sure that there's no roots or anything, and it's completely connected. And it's a problem. It can be a problem. For the most part, if you keep your drains clear of hair and grease and coffee grinds, you're not going to have a problem. It pretty much takes care of itself. But what happens if something happens? So on my street, two houses opposite of mine, the sewer line in the middle of the street is pulling away from there. It's coming into my side of the street. And what's happening is the sewer drain pulls away from the main, and then it just floods inside the street, underneath the street, and it becomes a problem. And then sewer starts backing up, and it's a big, huge issue, and it's $7,000 to $10,000 for you to fix it. Here we have Great Oaks Water, and you can buy an insurance program, and I highly suggest that you do that if you live in this area, because it's $25 a month, and it's a better risk than buying fire insurance, home insurance, because it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And the first thing I would do is buy the house, have that home inspection done. Buy the house, get the insurance done, and then in 3 months, have a sewer lateral inspection done. That's what it's called, and have it done. I tell you this over and over again. It happens, it happens, it happens, and it's expensive, and the city is going to charge you to do it. And it's $7,000 to $10,000, and it sucks. I've seen it happen. So be careful. It's a risk I'm not willing to take. Okay. What happens if you have hair in there in your drain? Yeah. It's a constant problem when you have women in your house. They have longer hair. Their hair falls out. My hair falls out too, but my hair's short, so it just goes down the drain. When you have long hair, it tends to clog inside the P-trap. There's a little plastic thing with barbs on it. You can buy it at Home Depot, online, or whatever. You do that every 3 months, and you're not going to have a problem. Keep one of those in your sink, underneath your sink, because it's going to happen. It's not if it's going to happen. And then also keep the coffee grinds out of your drain, because there's grease that builds up over time, and then coffee grinds just don't work well. And you can take the coffee grinds, throw them on your grass, throw them in the bushes or what have you, and it makes a good mulch. It's good for the plants. It absorbs into the dirt, and it's really healthy for the system. So that's what I do. I have a little tiny bucket, and I throw my coffee grinds in there, and when it fills up, I throw it into a couple bushes here and there, and it makes them happy. It just gives them some extra food. So there you go. Everything you never wanted to know about plumbing in test and measurement world. The most expensive college towns in the nation have one thing in common. They're on the beach. Okay, so this is a poorly written article, because it talks about living on the beach. Santa Barbara is the most expensive, but then it goes to Florida Atlantic University, which is Boca Raton. That's on the beach. But then the next one is Flagstaff, Arizona. I don't recall Flagstaff being next to the beach. Oregon State is not necessarily near the beach. It's close to it, but it's expensive to live there. And Orem, Utah is not near the beach, but it could be near a beach. But that's Salt Lake, I guess. University of Oregon, that's north. Provo, Utah, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Manchester. So here's one thing that we're not talking about. San Jose is about the same distance to the beach as Oregon State University is, and the cost of a house here is $2.4 million. So I don't know. Santa Cruz is pretty damn expensive. That's on the water. It's actually on the water. Well, close to the water. They have some extension areas over there that's on the water, and that's worth like 1.6, 1.7. And then there's California State Monterey, which is literally on the water. You can walk to the beach. So I think they need to go back and work on this. But there's also least expensive places here: Michigan, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, Texas Tech. So if you're looking for affordable places to buy a house or a condo for your student to live in when they're going to school, buy a 3 or 4 bedroom, and then they can rent out the rooms and pay for it. This is a great example of where you can send your kids to help pay for living costs. There you go. Download your buyer's checklist. All right. I have lots of people downloading this, and it's a great product. It's a great example of how to look for houses. It just helps you understand, looking at plumbing and looking at air conditioning and kitchen, etc. And it lets you compare and contrast each house. This is my listing right here. It's been on market 6 days. I have 2 offers in hand. I have another one coming in, and it's because I priced it low. This should come up a little bit higher. We're going to have open house again this weekend, see where it goes. And it's a nice house. We priced it accordingly because the house, let's go into it real quick. I should have the floor plan here. I don't have it up on this just yet, but we have it staged. We have it painted. Nothing's great about it. This house was painted outside before. I would never have chosen turquoise blue, but that's the way it is. And this is a sunroom right here. And the kitchen is original. I asked them to paint it. They opted not to. And if you look, the floor, not inside the sunroom, but the floor is a laminate floor, and you can't really tell in the pictures. You can hear a little bit. You can take a quick look at it. The laminate floor has the water seeped into the flooring and expanded the joints, the seams. So it's just something you have to replace the flooring here. And let's see. Yep, staged up, ready to go. This house it's a nice floor plan. The rooms are big. It's a laundry room, the garage. This has a pantry in there. And the front yard is low maintenance. Same with the backyard. They used to have a pool here. If you have an RV or a pool, or RV or a boat, there's a gate right here. You can move the shed or get rid of it and put a big RV back here. And there's a big side yard because it's on a corner lot. Yep, there you go. Okay, that's that. And then rates have come down extremely. 6.14, and banks are now taking advantage of it. 2 out of the banks that I'm looking at here, Mutual of Omaha and District Lending, are quoting under 6% for an average price home in Santa Clara County, which is 2.4 with a $500,000 down payment. Your payment would be $11,000 and change, and your actual rate is 5.75, 5.85. I look at these numbers because those are the real numbers that you're paying. And then 12 Bay Area County months of inventory, nothing's changed. I've just put September here because we're in the middle of the month and I'm getting ready to adjust those numbers. Probably do it on the 1st of October. Holy cow, that's coming up quick, isn't it? Nothing's really crazy to look at right now. Everything is normal. We're not in a buyer's market. We're not We're kind of in a seller's market, but it's really balanced because of the interest rates. So there you go. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'm Vito with Abitano, abitano.com. Give me a call if you ever want to buy or sell a house. We'll see you out there.